imagine. I don't know if you've been able to imagine that, for what it would feel like. Maybe you're frustrated, you're making your art and it's not resonating, you're not selling. That's very frustrating because it's your passion, it's something that's so dear to you. But can you imagine what that would feel like if you could make your art and have a sustainable revenue stream around it? So it's not just one-off, happy you're selling something. It's sustainable, something that just keeps going, and that you can make what you feel good about and connect that with an art audience that appreciates and values what you're doing. What if I told you that your creativity, your creative success, your artistic success, whether if you're selling your work, has nothing to do with your upbringing, whether you went to the best art schools, about your talent, even the level of your talent, or luck. There's nothing to do with those things. Sure, those things help. It's an honor and a privilege to have gone to an art school, art academy. I realize that every day, what a privilege that I had access to good education, but it doesn't guarantee success. I don't know if you've noticed that it's not always the most talented or the most educated artists that are successful. There are other factors that influence success, and I'm talking success, making what you love to do and getting paid for it, so that there's that revenue stream. You think, okay, Sonia, if it's not luck or your education, what is it? That's the whole clue. What can you do about it? How can you get better grip on that? There are so many moving parts to your art career. You are the artist. That starts and ends with you. You are, how you're feeling, what you're thinking influences the direction where your business is going, how you're functioning, that your knowledge, the things that you have learned, that you can apply them. How can you translate that, what's you, into your art form? That's the second huge moving part, of course. But, it's not there to sit around your studio and just collect dust. You need to connect that with an art audience. So those three moving parts, major moving parts of your art career, and finding a balance between you as the artist, your art, and your art audience, if you can start to connect with them, that's where the sweet spot of your success will be. And then you're going to see increase in your revenue when you get an understanding of how those parts move together, and you can become a productive artist. And to be able to do that, you need to master the basics of art business. Because yes, it's not a very artistic word, you are in business. And this masterclass is all about selling art. And that's where the tension already is. It's not about making art, because then you could just be the artist and the art, have your art. But this is about selling your art. So that third component of art audience is crucial. That's like the missing link. And I think a lot of you are looking for the keys, how to unlock more of that, so that you can connect that what you're making with your art audience. So you are the artist. That's why you're here. You love creativity. But there's another side, and that is the entrepreneurship. So I hope you're not breaking out in rashes and get allergic reactions when I'm talking about this. But to be able to successfully, effectively sell your art, you need to understand that you're also in business. You are an entrepreneur. And maybe you have not so nice references. Maybe you have a family member who's an entrepreneur who's just like salesy and go, go, go. And there's not that emotional sensitivity in it. Maybe that's your reference to being an entrepreneur. But entrepreneurship is actually the business side of things. And you need to realize that you're building a sustainable business, a sustainable career, that it's more than just your art. You need to embrace that part, that it's part of your art success, embracing that business side of things, adopting a business mindset. That's going to put you in the right frame of mind to move forward to sell more art, whether that's in 1999, used to be, or 2021, 2022. Having that mindset that you are also in business, whatever that means to you, that's all about creating from the place of authenticity and having your own tone of voice. As an artist and an entrepreneur, you are the gallerist. So, unless you have gallery representation, who's doing all the marketing and the promoting and the facilitating, I'm now talking to you as an entrepreneur who's doing that yourself. You're wanting to sell your art. So you're the gallerist, you're the curator. You're deciding what's in that collection or not. What is good art? Not every art is there for selling. A lot of art is there for trying and practicing and developing and maturing and becoming really good in your craft. Not everything needs to be thrown on Instagram. Not everything needs to be sold. It could be your process, it could be research. You need to curate your work. When is it sell worthy? So that's where you need to develop that eye. You are the marketeer. You are bringing your art to an art audience. You need to find clever ways, strategies, and that's what we're going to talk about, to bring that what you're passionate about to your art audience. You are a salesperson. You need to get confident to ask money, and also getting an understanding how much can you actually ask for your work. That's all about sales. It's a sales process. That's also part of your job as an art entrepreneur. You are the customer service person. So when you're getting emails, where's my painting? I ordered it online. It arrived damaged, or how long will the shipping take? Or all those questions are the customer service side of things. That's you too. And you're also the logistic person following up, and so much more. So you are wearing many hats when it comes to running your art as an art business. Now, please don't leave. Think this is totally overwhelming, Sonia. I just want to make my art and, I just hope it sells. That is not very strategic. It's when you start getting empowered is when you start understanding the system behind business and the business of art. And hopefully I'll just be able to lift the veil a little bit during the session. And you're all at different parts on your art journey. I know some of you are starting out, you're venturing in. Is this something that I want to do? Is this something I want to turn into an art career? Some of you are more, emerging. You have a body of work, you have mature work, and you are already putting it out there on your social channels, website, and you've had exhibitions, or maybe you've been doing it forever. You're experienced, you are, showing nationally or internationally. You have a bigger following. You are an expert in your genre. All depending on what your level is. We're all at different levels. Well, depending how you're going to be using these strategies. So bear that in mind, that there's not one system that fits all. It's very organic depending where you are on your art journey. Action step number 1, whether you're a starter, emerging, or an experienced artist, buy a planner. This is a copy of my planner. It's a large format. I spray glued it on foam core. It's in my studio. I have an understanding of my year. And I think that's step number 1. If you're going to run your art as an art business, you need to have an understanding of your time, of your seasons, because we all work in seasons. You have your seasons of making, you have your seasons of promoting, and you have your seasons of selling, whether that's in one day or whether that's over 3 months. There is a process in your selling in seasons, and you only will have a better grip of that if you understand your year. So get a planner. If the Dutchies are here, it's .bol.com. That's a very common web shop where I get mine, or Amazon, or wherever you are. Maybe you have a local online store where you can buy one. It's erasable, and start filling in dates. Maybe you want to make those 24 paintings before the summer so that you can have some kind of virtual exhibition or an in-person event if our situation allows it, depending where you are in the world. You have an idea, you can start planning, because effective selling all starts with a plan. Because you can just wish that you can then sell. I wish I would sell this painting, I wish I would sell this art. No, you need a plan. You need to start taking concrete steps. So get a planner. That's an action step number 1. And then start to see your year as a cycle, because that really will help you get momentum. So this is, I call the creation cycle. So you can see it's circular, and it's divided into 4 quarters. First quarter, it's the first 3 months of the year. Second, third, and fourth quarter, we're starting with December and March, and then here we have September and June. And then you need to decide for yourself what is key within those quarters, those first 3 months. Where do you want to be at the end of March? Do you want to have a body of work done? You want to have your studio cleaned and ready, or a workspace? Maybe you want to make some transitions. But having some clearer goals will give you that little dot on the horizon that you can grow towards, move towards. So it's not just happening, life is rushing by, time just flies and you just have no control. So seeing your year as a cycle, and then you can start planning as a business art entrepreneur what you want to do where. And that's going to give you a little bit more control and clarity. And then you can grow and you can look back. Maybe your goals were too ambitious. You can say, okay, well, why didn't I finish that or achieve that goal? And then you can make the adjustments. And that's when you start maturing as an artist entrepreneur. Because it's all about making intentional choices. Intentional choices, how you're going to promote and sell your work. And that is a strategy. That's when you start thinking, not only like an artist, it's like, sitting up and painting. You also need to decide how you're going to compose, which your palettes, all thinking very intentionally. What strategy do you have to sell your art? Do you have a strategy? Or is it just wishful thinking, hoping, praying that it's going to be working? Taking a photo, putting it on Instagram, putting a price and a nice little text with it, some hashtags, and you think, why is no one buying this? You see people liking and following, but you don't have a plan behind it. And that's what I'm hopefully going to show you, that there's a whole thought process behind it. And your customers, your potential buyers, your buyers are on a journey with you. And I've just laid it out here as a flow chart, that they start as en passants. It's a nice fancy French word for someone that's passing by, someone who encounters your work for the first time. On Instagram, they're scrolling, someone has shared your work, or they're on Pinterest, they see your work, they're passing by. That's their first encounter, or they were in a gallery and they're Googling and there was a QR code and they've, they look at your work for the first time. So that's the step that they take. And then I think, oh, now, interesting what he or she is doing. I'm going to follow. And as you consistently post with intentional thought and planning and decision as a curator, what you're going to be posting, they're going to start getting more excited because they're understanding what you're doing. There is clarity. You're not just, doing thousands of things. They are understanding more what you're doing. They're becoming fans. So these followers are growing into fans. And as you are sharing maybe your original work, reproductions about your products, when they think about an artist, they're thinking about you because you've been nurturing them. You're nurturing a relationship, and they're going from a growing fan into a raving fan. And that raving fan will allow more of their budget, will save up for a piece or ask for it as a gift. Or maybe if you have a payment plan, they will invest in larger and larger pieces. And that's when you start getting collectors. And that's where you want to grow towards as an artist, that you have recurring income. You have people coming back and they really want to collect your work, or they are telling other people and they become your ambassadors about your work. So there's a process. And very rarely does someone buy your work when they're en passant. So they're not impulse buyers. Unless you're really at a low end, your cost is so low, under 100 euros, for example. They go to an art fair, that you have a booth, they see your work and they think, okay, I can, that's within the price range. But if you are in the middle, high-end segments, it's something you need to nurture. And you need to realize that it takes time. Your artistic success must grow. But as you do that intentionally, you're going to nurture en passants to followers, to fans, to collectors. And that's something that you should have in your mind. And that's why it's important when you're on your social or your website, you want to take people on that journey with you. What are those art selling strategies? What can you do intentionally, especially in 2021? Times have changed. We are all being forced far more online, which has given amazing opportunities for creatives if you know how to use it for your advantage.